probably takes twice as long when I become
I will just start by saying that I have not done a Q&A video in quite a while, but I thought this was a perfect opportunity because so many questions about the baby, and it's fun to talk about pregnancy, and I'm just really happy and excited, and I will talk about this all day. If you hear any noise in the background, it's because my husband is still working from home. He's a structural engineer, so if you hear like tap, 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 click, 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 that's him basically saving your life, because his job is to take an architect's design and make it safe for people to stay in a building and not die, especially in an earthquake-ridden place like California. His job is really cool, and he's very, very smart, and like wicked genius, scary smart, that I sometimes forget that I'm in bed with a genius. The next thing I want to say is that I was in Maui for almost a month, and when I was there I did a little mini photo shoot with the belly with one of my friends. Her name is Chelsea Jean. I've known her for years, ever since her daughter Benny was in her belly. I was super resistant to doing a maternity photo shoot. I'm just not that kind of gal to get all dolled up and like look sexy and pretty and be like, take a photo of me with a hibiscus flower in my hair. It's like not really my thing. But my sister really urged me to do it, and I'm glad I did, because this is such a special time, being pregnant with our son, and I love having a belly. It's so much fun, and I'm really grateful to Chelsea for taking these photos with me because they're gorgeous. Like, look how beautiful and adorable I look. And I want to let you know that Chelsea has these preset packs because she's this very talented photographer, and she just has a way of bringing out the gorgeous out of any shot that she takes, and she's sharing her secrets with you guys with her preset pack. A preset is basically kind of like a filter. It helps you edit a photo to make it look a lot better. I use her presets all the time, and it makes me look like I kind of know what I'm doing. So here you can see you take a regular photo, put her preset on it, and it looks really gorgeous. So I'll put her link below to her presets because I think they're great. Also, this is not an ad. She's a friend of mine, and I just love her product. The first question I'm going to answer is one I'm surprised we haven't been getting asked more often. It's whether we're going to feed our kid vegan. If you guys know my story, I've been vegan for about 14 years now, and my husband is not vegan or vegetarian. He's like a I'll eat whatever kind of guy. But ever since we have been married, he's slowly sort of transitioned his diet to eating primarily vegan. I think maybe 80% of what he eats is vegan. A lot by default, but by choice as well. He eats what I cook for dinner, and sometimes he makes the choice to eat vegan at a restaurant too, and that's just his own evolution. I've talked a lot on my channel about our relationship when it comes to me being vegan and him not, because what a huge different worldview that we possess, and we're in this partnership together. And the reason I'm really open about it and I talk about it really freely is because I know this is kind of a common conundrum. A lot of people are in a partnership where one partner is vegan and the other is not, and this can cause a lot of discord. It can be very frustrating, and I totally relate to that. And I do want to say adding a child into the mix has definitely opened up some conversations, and I'm just really pleased with where we're at right now. And I'll just start by saying that in the beginning of our marriage, it was hard being married to someone who's not vegan, and I have this very strong worldview. It's not just a diet for me, it's a lifestyle. It's an ethical lifestyle where I choose the most compassionate choice that I can when it comes to you know, animal products and things like that. But we worked through that a lot. It was a lot of conversation. We did go to marriage counseling at one point. It was so helpful. I highly recommend it. And personally, I just wouldn't want to bring a child into our relationship if we weren't as strong as we are today. And so I'm really grateful for all of the hard work we put into our marriage. I am so madly in love with him. I'm more in love with him today than when I married him. Yes, he is listening to this. I'm really not just saying this because Eric's in the room right now, but he has grown so much since we've been married, and I think without that growth, I don't know like where we would be, especially deciding to start a family, because this was a planned baby. All that to say, all of that work that we put in to having this marriage, this family that we have right now without a baby, has prepared the way for bringing a child into this. So the short answer is yes, we are going to feed our child vegan, even though my husband is not. And the way we came to that decision was a couple years ago, while we were still talking about like what's our family gonna look like in a few years. I told him, I said, you know, it's kind of a deal breaker for me. I'm not willing to feed my child non-vegan food. It's not, I believe it's not a compassionate choice. It's not something that aligns with my own worldview or philosophy. You know, where are you at? Like, would you be open to feeding our child vegan, even if you are not vegan? And he said yes, and I'm not really sure how he came to that conclusion. Maybe I'll ask him later tonight, because I don't really know how he sort of thought about that. But ultimately, if you think about it, you know, I'm not asking to feed our children blood. Like, I'm not asking to feed our children Oreos all day. Eating a plant-based diet is very healthy, and Eric knows that. Like, he's seen all the documentaries. He knows how healthy it is. He's just not vegan himself. So he trusts me to make those kind of nutritional choices for our child, and he's not worried about the health of our child. There is one specific rule I do want to talk about, because I think this is ultimately going to help us in the long run, and we're just gonna see how it goes. We're gonna play it by ear. The issue is that I know children look up to their parents so much, and not having done any parenting myself yet, I believe most of what parenting is, a lot of what parenting is setting an example and being an influence, and children just want to do what the parents are doing. Especially this little boy, he's gonna look up to his daddy, and he's gonna want to do what Eric's doing. And so I asked Eric if he'd be open to not eating vegan around our child, because I think that's kind of confusing. Like, wait, I can't eat that, but dad can eat that? That's such a confusing thing for a little kid to grasp. So we decided that, you know, if Eric wants to eat non-vegan food, which frankly isn't all that often, he'll do it not around the child. So our house will be vegan, and it pretty much is right now. And I know we're gonna come across some hurdles. Like, I think family events might be difficult, like the non-vegan side of the family, like when we all eat together, that might be a little confusing and hard. But you know, life is hard, parenting is hard. There's gonna be some tricky things. It's not like we can't handle it, you know, like we'll figure it out when we get there. And if anyone is in that situation where they like similar to me, they're vegan, their partner's not vegan, but we feed our child vegan, I would love to see what you guys say in the comments below. The next question is about our birth plan. Are we doing a home birth? Are we doing mind coaching like my sister did? Yes and yes, we are definitely doing a home birth. We are so excited. That's something that I really wanted, and Eric was maybe a little on the fence about, but he knew it was super important to me. And he recognizes, like, you know, it's mostly me, like, doing this, like, it's my body, and so I have a big say on how we're going to deliver. That said, like, I do think the partner should be on board. I think it's really important. This is something I have always wanted to do. I just think it makes a lot of sense. The kind of philosophy behind home birthing is that pregnancy is not a medical condition. Like, this isn't a medical event. This is a normal, natural process for women giving birth, especially if you're low risk. And if you do a home birth, you can only do a home birth if you're low risk. What really solidified things for Eric and helped him feel a lot more secure in our decision was watching the documentary The Business of Being Born, which I highly recommend anyone who's interested in home birthing, really anyone who is going to give birth. And then we found this amazing midwife together that we both agreed on, that we love. It's a husband and wife duo, and they're awesome. We all connect, so Eric feels really on board, and that's the plan. So we will be having our baby here, you know, somewhere in the house. I don't know how it's gonna go. I might be out on the deck in the backyard looking at the moon, birthing the baby. It's gonna be amazing. I'm really excited. And one reason I'm so excited is because I am doing mind coaching with Heather McKean. She wrote the book Mind Change, and she is one of my favorite people on the entire planet. She lives in Maui, and she is friends with my sister also, and she has done these mind coaching stuff with other expecting mothers. And I will definitely do a whole video like explaining that whole thing, because it's revolutionary. It basically taps into your subconscious, rewires neural pathways so that the fear and the anxiety around birth is transformed into a loving acceptance and passion and beauty and euphoric experience. Yeah, sounds amazing. Why did we decide to find out the gender? So I did not want to find out the gender. I still wish we didn't, but that's okay. This was something that was really important to Eric, and I'm glad that we found out because it was important to him and it helps him feel more connected to the baby. And I was willing to do that because if you have been listening to this video, he has been so supportive and encouraging with all of my choices or my preferences, and I figured, yeah, I'll throw him a bone. I'll give him this one. How have I been handling my pregnancy? Oh my goodness. Pregnancy is not what I thought it was gonna be. I was super naive about it. I just didn't, like, people talk about pregnancy like they go woof and they like do this, like with the, like they get up off the ground and they can't get off a couch, and I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Like, there's gonna be no problems. Pregnancy is is the real deal, man. This is everything changes, like everything. I don't quite feel like Hannah anymore in many ways. For example, I can't hold plank in yoga, like at all. All your abs are like moving around and changing things down there. And it's very frustrating to not have the same physical capacity that I normally do. If you guys know me, like, I'm a very active person. I, you know, at one point, pre-pregnancy, running 30, 40 miles a week and doing yoga every day for an hour, like active, getting outside, moving all the time. That's such a huge part of who I am. And now I'm lucky if I do yoga. Like, I am doing yoga, I am, but it's just like, it's not the same. It's not the same inspiring practice that it once was. But I will say, the most frustrating thing about being pregnant, for me, in my own experience, everyone's is so different, is the food. I am so hungry, but food just doesn't sound good. And I had always heard pregnant people talk about this, like, yeah, food's weird during pregnancy. And I never understood it because I always have had a really good appetite. But now I don't even... It's just very difficult to eat. I made a video with my sister where I talked about it a little bit more. So the thing I'm looking forward to the most once the baby comes, besides obviously meeting this human, is also just eating. Like, I just can't wait to eat food and enjoy food. It's hard to enjoy food. It's more like I'm just like, get the calories in, hurry, because if I don't eat, then I feel miserable. Another question was about exercise during pregnancy, and I actually really do want to make a video about modifying my practice for pregnancy, because I would call it like an intermediate yoga practice. I'm not like advanced doing all these crazy handstands or anything, but I had a pretty solid, consistent, intermediate yoga practice. It was a huge part of my life, and all of a sudden I'm pregnant and everything is changing. Like, even the first trimester when I didn't have a belly, it was still hard. I don't know, everything is different when you're pregnant. So I want to talk about modifying a prenatal practice for like an intermediate or like an experienced yogi, because I can't find hardly any videos about this. Most prenatal yoga videos are like, now we will stretch like this, and it's so boring. I want to fall asleep. Like, it's just not interesting or inspiring to me. There's a few videos I found that are really good yoga practices that feel like pre-pregnancy yoga but modified for the belly. So I'd like to talk about that if you're interested. Has your personality changed much since being pregnant? My personality, I don't think so, but a huge change for me is I am not writing, like, at all. And it's weird. I normally write maybe 4 or 5 times a week, not every day, but 4 or 5 times a week, and it's a really big part of my life. Like, I consume all things about fiction writing because that's me. I'm a writer, and I want to publish a novel one day, and I was like on that path. Was full on, like, that was my whole day, was focusing on getting a book published one day, get knocked up, not interested anymore. And I don't know why that is, but apparently this is sort of common, like your priorities just shift. And I get it, like, I'm bringing a human into this world and I need to create this. There's a lot to do to get ready for the baby. So yeah, I think just like priority shift. I'm definitely going to write again. It's just, I'm just not ready for it. One of my best friends, Isla Morley, she's been on the channel a lot recently. She wrote her first novel when her child was only 3, and she said she had this like rush of creativity when she had a toddler. So maybe that will be my experience. How does it feel to have a little one growing inside of you? It's wild, guys. It's crazy. It's the miracle of life. It's so exciting, and it's the best part about being pregnant for me, is just like, I am holding life inside me. It's just so beautiful and mind-blowing. Next question, am I scared of giving birth? I saw this question a lot. No, I'm not. I'm legitimately so excited, and I have zero fear about it. And I attribute this a lot to having a sister who has had 4 beautiful natural home births and has shared her experiences with me and with the world. Like, I'm so proud of my sister for, you know, filming her birth, which is such an intimate moment, and then putting it on the internet. Like, she didn't have to do that, and I'm gonna link her videos below about her births, because that really empowers women to take back what birth can be. Birth doesn't have to be, you know, for low risk situations, every pregnancy is different, but birth doesn't have to be what it is in the movies. Like, the movies really paint a picture that is just inaccurate. Like, it's, my water broke, run to the hospital. That's what I thought was birth. Like, I thought it was this emergency, and yes, sometimes it is, and I recognize that, but in a lot of situations it's not. And I really believe our mindset about birth shifts everything. I highly recommend the book Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. Wow, I learned so much, and it's beautiful and empowering, and it makes me not fear birth at all. I also read the hypnobirthing book. It's not really my jam, but I get why a lot of people are into it. I'm just not really into the program, but the philosophy of it I'm totally cool with. Like, don't fear this beautiful experience that you're gonna have. Trust that your body knows exactly what to do. Our bodies, our female bodies were designed to do this. So I'm not afraid. People are asking if he's moving already. Yes, he's been moving for a couple months now, and he is so cute. He just like kicks and moves, and I love it. It's also one of my favorite things about pregnancy, is just like feeling him in there. Like, sometimes the movement, it's like a swirl, like he's sort of like doing a slow interpretive dance. Sometimes it's like a kick, like he's gonna be a striker for Liverpool. Someone was asking about pregnancy clothes, and it might seem like a boring topic, but I actually have things to say. I really wanted to buy all secondhand pregnancy clothes, maternity clothes at thrift stores. I like to thrift. I love buying secondhand, but I got pregnant right before the quarantine and the lockdown, so I couldn't go anywhere to buy secondhand, and I was really sad. So I gave in and bought slave labor clothes. It's not something I do often, but I will admit it here, I am not perfect, and I very, very rarely buy fast fashion, but I bought some H&M maternity clothes, and I'm really glad I did, because I was just not, all my clothes were uncomfortable, nothing fit. I did find another option that my neighbor suggested to me, which was brilliant. I went on OfferUp, and a lot of people are like giving away or selling their maternity clothes for like a big box maternity clothes for $100 or something. So I did that, and I got a bunch of really useful stuff. I got these shorts. You can't see them, it's not worth it, they're just shorts. Or maybe I'll show you. Well, you guys, it's so hard to get off the ground. They're like over the, like, maternity clothes are so funny. They go over the belly like this, and it makes it really hot. Ooh, I'm sweaty in there. And then they're just like jean shorts like that. But yeah, I got like a bunch of stuff like that, like useful things. And that was secondhand, that was nice. I've got some people kind of giving me stuff. It's a combination. This is also just a giant shirt that smells. Oh, I stink. A ton of people were asking me about supplements. I prefer not to share which supplements I'm taking. I think it's really personal, and I don't like to give advice like you should take this, because I don't think one supplement's gonna save your life. But I do take supplements, yes, at the advice of my midwife. What is the best part about being pregnant? The other things I mentioned, but also letting it all hang out. Like, I feel like I love my body so much right now. I've never loved my body more, and I've also never weighed this much. So it's just this amazing, like, I am who I am, and like I am hosting this life, and I'm growing, developing this baby inside me, and isn't my body amazing? That I don't care that my butt is so jiggly. Like, I don't care that I've got like these thighs that could start a fire. Like, I just don't even care, and my arms don't look this, like, nothing is the same, but I love it. Like, I'm so empowered by it, and I do think this has a lot to do with my amazing husband, that this is like a Eric shout out video, because he just makes me feel sexy, and I think that's like just very important thing for me to have in my marriage and my partnership, because I never feel like I'm gross around him. Like, I feel like I'm always sexy around him, no matter what. And I can get gross, guys. Like, I make sounds, they're not pretty. And I think that has a lot to do with just like how he was raised. Like, he doesn't see women like they have to be these like sex objects. Like, we are these beautiful, empowered people, and he like sees me as that, and he sees me for exactly as I am, and that makes it a no-brainer for me to accept my body. And being pregnant has made me feel far sexier than I have ever felt in my entire life. It's like the most transformative experience. Final question is if we have any names picked out. We have a long list of names, guys, but we were advised under my friend Kesley's direction to not share names because people will influence you. Like, you tell them a name and they'll go, oh, but don't you think, you know, and everyone has an opinion about what you should name or what you should not name your child, and then it influences you and you're like, oh, I really liked that name, and then you start second guessing yourself. So we have names, but we decided we're not gonna pick a name before the baby's born. We'd like to meet the baby first, because we just figure, you know, like, you'll know, we'll have probably like 3 that we love, and then when we meet the baby, we'll know if it fits him or not. But I will warn you, we like some kooky names. Like, we are just making stuff up, man. We're just throwing sounds out there. We're like, what about this? What about this? Like, Eric's tipsy. Obviously I'm not drinking, but I'm like sympathy tipsy, like off of him, and we're just like spitballing names, and then they get added to the list, and the next day sober we'll look at them and be like, what is that name? But it's still on the list. It's not crossed off yet. And I don't know what our child's going to be named, but it's going to be weird. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, Blue, you have looked so cute this whole video. How did you do it? Bye, I'll see you later. Stop interrupting me.
I didn't interrupt you. I waited till you messed up on your own.
Wow.